And this is Sean Whalen. You might know him from many, many projects, including a new one called Socks that we... Crust. You know what? I'm obsessed with the socks part of it. I've already changed the name of it for you.
That's all right.
Mr. Vaughn here. Yes?
Yeah, Birch. Thank you so much.
Yes? I want you to talk more because of your accent. Say something else.
Hur mår ni då? Alla bra? Ja.
There we go.
Swedish.
That's what I'm talking about. Mr. Brandon there on the end.
Yes. Hello, everybody. Good morning.
So we're here to talk about all kinds of things, but obviously the people under the stairs, which, when you guys signed on for this, did you realize part of it was based on a true story?
Oh, did we?
Yes. Oh, I'm not speaking to the audience.
Oh, I thought they were asking
They're
that.
just watching.
I did not know that. I think Jan is the only one who knew that. Didn't you know that?
Somewhere.
I found out later.
Mid filming, yeah. Later, I found out. Not in the beginning.
I did not know.
I didn't know that when we
recently.
started.
Yeah,
When
no.
we started, right through the middle of the film, I started doing some research, and I realized there was a similar incident in Santa Monica in the 70s, which Wes based his script on, based on a newspaper article. But it took him like 20 years. I don't know if you guys knew, but in those days, he dreamed everything he wrote, up until screen. So everything was a nightmare. Freddy Krueger, all that. It was his own dreams. So, I wake up with that in the morning.
Now, Brandon, were you even old enough to read when you got cast?
Was I old enough to read?
11 years old.
I mean, you know.
I was able to.
He was
So
11.
Not just
bit.
read, but
But-
comprehend what you were part of. Like, how terrifying it is.
I was already a Wes Craven fan, and I just remember, at the time I was going on a lot of auditions, acting as a kid, and I just remember getting that call, and I was going out for a Wes Craven movie, and seeing the sides or the script, that they give you the audition with, and I just remember there was a lot of cursing, and my grandmother was like, I don't know about this. Grandma, I gotta do this.
And then she was like, wait, what's the paycheck again?
Yeah, exactly. She was my manager as well,
Oh,
so she
there
didn't
we
play
go.
about the business.
Get a cut of that. Were you even allowed to see the movie when it was finished?
Oh yeah.
I mean, when you were that age.
Yeah. I actually even had my own little private screening where I was able to invite my friends from school. And
That was the clean version, though. Did they tell you that?
Nah,
That
it
was
wasn't
not
clean.
the-
Wasn't a clean version.
Yeah, there's just a big blur over the cannibal part.
Right.
Spoiler alert, just in case you haven't seen it.
Yes.
And you've been working on a lot of projects,
Yes.
Sean. I mean,
Yes.
you're a busy guy these days.
Yes.
Do we want to talk about the laundromat? No, I'm changing
Yes,
the name
yes,
again.
I just for the first time did a wrote, directed, and starred in a movie. It's a creature feature horror comedy called Crust. It's about a lonely guy that lives in a laundromat and collects all the leftover socks from the dryers and wipes all his bodily fluids on them. And then when he gets abused one day, he cries a tear of anguish, and the whole thing comes to life. And it's a sock monster named Crust. And it is just got picked up by Anchor Bay. It'll be out later this year, limited theatrical, and but it has Felissa Rose, Danny Roebuck, reunites me and Alan Ruck for the first time since Twister, after his Emmy nominations for Succession. It's the first project he's coming out with. It's my movie, so that's exciting.
The docu-series.
Yeah.
I was going to say this is also loosely based on a true story.
Yeah, but this is but the best line about because it's about a guy who wipes blood, sweat, everything on his socks, and my brother goes, I love this movie, and it's why, and he goes, because you've been you're being method, and I goes, you've been method for like 40 years. And I was like, that's true. Sorry, I guess that is true.
Might explain where our socks go. So
Yeah,
if
yeah,
you find
yeah.
the missing one, just throw
But
it away.
it's like Little Shop of Horrors in that, but it's also different because unlike Little Shop of Horrors, my guy likes it because he's depressed and it makes him feel better that his problems are getting taken care of by the sock monster.
See, it's
And-
just like an after-school special, really.
Yeah,
yeah.
it's funny. It's in black and white. It's fun. It's really fun. And then, like I said, we just got picked up by Anchor Bay, which is a iconic horror distribution company. So I'm really excited.
So do we know when we might see that?
It'll be mid to later this year. But if you just look up Crust, we're gonna have the trailer going later at the table, and if you put my name in, like Crust trailer or Sean Whalen Crust or whatever, you'll be able to watch the trailer. It'll be a 2-minute trailer out there. It's really fun.
So being in horror movies and whatnot, has that given you guys nightmares about anything, or just do you dream about the scenes you were in?
No, I think people ask you that, and you just kind of. I think it's just the weirdness of the only thing that made it weird for me was Ving Rhames had a full body cast done. So when they hung him upside down and they were doing the cannibal part and all that stuff, so it's basically him cut wide open from like his chest all the way down to like his toes or below his crotch or whatever. And after when they used it, we had 2 areas to get ready. We had the makeup area, where I think you just went every day with me and Yana to go to the makeup area, plus the special effects area. And because I had to get my fingers, he had a long time with his face. And underneath that thing, they just laid the body on the ground because they just distort it. So you'd sit there and you'd see like naked Ving Rhames open, split up on the ground. And I remember just sitting there with him one time, he was getting like a wound or something. I go, man, we've seen like all our friends are coming by and stuff. Like, why does it, you talk about your wife all the time? I've never seen her. And he goes, she don't want to see that shit. But that was the only thing that made me go like, oh, I don't know what movie. Like this is weird. But no, when you're breaking it down, it's not. That's good.
No, it's not. And I mean, on that note too, first time I ever met Ving, he was naked. So, and
Well, that breaks the ice right there.
we were doing the cast at the K&B Effect at the same time, and he was like, nice to meet you.
Explain who K&B is, though.
Oh, Kurtzman, Berger, and Nicotero. Now director of Walking Dead. Greg Nicotero.
Greg Nicotero.
Yeah, they started K&B, one of the biggest effects houses. They're still doing a lot of work, but he's also obviously now lives in Atlanta and does a lot of other things.
He was great.
Yeah, he was awesome.
So did you get scared at all, or did you see this open body here?
I saw an open body, and then they had.
Dude, it was like a playground for him. He was the happiest kid.
It was
He was the
like
happiest
a playground.
kid. Yeah, he loved it.
I was just running around the set having fun.
It's like playing Halloween all the time. He was like the happiest. Like I remember he and I like going, all right, because they built this huge maze for us to run through. For and I do that whole thing when I pull them through the mirror and we run through them, and they literally said, Brandon and Sean, just run through, and our camera guys is gonna back up and catch the whole thing, and we just were running, and we're done, and Brandon's like, let's do it again.
Another take, please. We're ready.
It was so much fun. Like it was fun, and then I'm like get to be like a kid anyway because Roach was like a kid anyway, so it was great.
So I know that you didn't actually film in the house,
Yeah. Well,
but you guys did.
Don did.
Yeah.
Because I know that there's a lot of, people do walkthrough videos of this is where this was shot, but then you're like, what? I've never seen
Yeah,
this
no,
before.
we shot Redmond Studios, and most of the interiors, but then we also I shot a couple of weeks in the actual house. When I come out of the stairs with Wendy Robe and all that, that's
the
the
end.
actual house. Yeah, and the explosion, they blew up the house. That was the actual house. That was, they blew the
So what are these people showing me then on YouTube when they're like, here's the house?
No, they rebuilt it.
They have to rebuild it.
And the owners of that house only uses it for films.
Oh,
That's
Yeah.
it. They just,
It was in Neighbors. If you guys watch Neighbors, you guys know Neighbors, the one with Seth Rogen. Yeah, that's
so
the
they
fraternity
actually,
house.
The actual explosion, they had 2 explosions. They had one on set, which was more of the close-up, and then they actually did blow the roof of the house on site. So when we come down walking out of the house, it's the house. All those scenes.
And he gets a job at Chuck E. Cheese.
or
Don't
Five
you always
Nights at
wonder where
Freddy's.
he went? Like he just walks away.
Yeah, no, we did actually. Wes wanted to do a scene first, briefly, we talked about a sequel about what happens now, you know, looking like that in the real world, what's going to happen. And we shot some ideas back and forth, but didn't really materialize. But that would have been fun.
So Brandon, did you have to have school during this time? I know child actors, you know,
Yeah,
they have to learn.
I had to go to school. I had to go to school every day. Teacher on set. There's only so many hours I could work, you know. And yeah.
Did you actually learn anything during that school time? Or was it more beneficial to learn from the movie set? Being honest.
You know, I mean, you have to do both. That's just part of it. So
You
know,
don't have to be diplomatic. It's okay. You
you're-
learn more in the movie, right?
It's true though. You know, your school before you leave, your school has to prepare all your work for you so that you can work with the set teacher, and you have to get it done. That's just part of it. You gotta pay to play.
That's true. I do have a specific question. I don't know if Travis is here or not, but our buddy Travis Sams is a huge Michael Jackson fan.
Okay.
So I think you know where this is going.
Uh-huh.
You worked with Michael Jackson, Moonwalker, right? Like, did I name that wrong again? So what was that like?
That was amazing. I mean, it was huge for me because I always say that Michael Jackson was the reason that I learned that I was a performer, you know, and became an actor and all that. I started off imitating Michael Jackson and dancing like Michael Jackson. And then once I did that, you know, I had the guts to do whatever, you know. Yeah, but it was great. Michael was cool, real cool guy.
Did he talk a lot, or was he like super shy?
He
Like you
did.
kind of picture
He
him?
was shy in public, but behind closed doors, he was cool. He was like a big kid. You know what I mean? He just liked to have fun.
Did he give you any words of wisdom? Or anything that really
He
stands
just
out to you?
always told me he liked my dancing, and he always just told me keep practicing, never stop dancing, which eventually I did.
You stopped it. Would you ever do So You Think You Could Dance, maybe, or Dancing with the Stars?
Hey, who knows? Maybe. I mean, actually, in that movie Moonwalker, like the whole thing that we did, where I played him in the bad video part, wasn't originally part of the movie. That was something that he came up with afterwards when he had seen me dance, and then he called me and he was like, "I'm thinking about doing the bad video over again with all kids. Would you like to do it?" I was like, "Yes."
I mean, you like my schedule. Yes. Yes, please.
Yeah. So yeah.
And you know, you talked about maybe a second People Under the Stairs. What do we think of the reboot?
I mean, I think if
What do you think of the reboot?
well, for me, I think when Get Out was big, like in a Vanity Fair article, someone called me over there. You gotta read what Jordan Peele is saying. He's saying Get Out, his biggest inspirations. He named several, but the biggest two he said were Rosemary's Baby, right? Because Rosemary walking around going, something weird is going on here. Like in Get Out, you're going, this is something weird. And then he said People Under the Stairs. It was his big thing. He said because it had the lead character was, and he said when I was a kid, because I never saw a black kid be a hero of a horror movie. He said, yeah, that's one of his biggest things. And he's in so many different, like people will message me all the time. He cites like, the claustrophobia of it and roach between the wall. Like he talked about it a lot. He referenced it a lot. So it meant something to him as a kid. So I'm assuming he will treat it with care. You
I
know
hope
what I
so.
mean?
Yeah, I mean, I would have rather, as some of you probably know, that Wes was going to do a TV series right before he passed. He just signed a deal, UCB Cable, Universal Television, 2 months before he passed. So I would have liked to see that, probably more than a reboot, but because we can't,
Yeah.
I'd like to see
Yeah.
what doing will do.
Yeah.
So has he asked you to be any part of this or any
It's
say
too
or
early,
anything?
way too early.
It's too early.
They just found a screenwriter. Like they just announced the screenwriter like
So
2
if he
months
does,
ago.
if he's like, would you guys
Well, I
do
mean,
something?
I don't see how we could play the roles we played. I mean,
Or just to have maybe some
idea.
insight, or
Yeah, you could.
I could. Because,
I could.
I could because I just don't,
Yeah.
The makeup doesn't really, you can't tell how old I am.
Yeah.
I like to play Bing.
Yeah, see.
You can play Bing.
No, and I'd like to play the father. I want to play the father. I'm definitely going to fight for trying out for the dad.
I don't think you would need to try out. I think.
No, I think I would. I think I would. I think I would. Well, because, but people are like, you got to play Roach again. I go, I don't want to be old Roach. Like, hey, guys, where's my Viagra?
It's at the laundromat where you left it,
Well, you
okay?
do that as a man anyway, don't you?
Yeah.
So talk about the special effects makeup and how long that took, that process. How
For me, 6 hours a day. They got it down to like 4.5 after 6 weeks, but it was about 6 hours a day for 6 weeks. First couple of days was 8 to 10 because they had to test things out. But yeah, no, there was 3-4 pieces. There were 3 pieces in the face, a shoulder page. And I had on my legs, my hands. There's a lot.
And he went blind.
And I did go blind for 2 hours.
whoa, I was gonna
Of the
say
contact lenses. Yeah.
anything make you like allergies or break out or
No,
weird stuff.
Yeah, and I got 2 things. I got 2 things. My knees got infected from all the crawling on their dirty floor.
Yeah.
That I didn't really, as a method actor, being young and stupid, I didn't tend to it. I'm like, fuck it, excuse my language, but a week later, my knees were infected, of course, because I didn't take care of it. But the worst part was the contact lenses. It was actually one of the first movies they ever tried to cover the whole eye. So we had this optician on set, and they never done it before. Now they, do it in a million different ways. So the first time we put them in, it was very uncomfortable, and the doctor said 45 minutes max. And you know how it goes with films. They say action, and 3 hours later, they're still in my eyes, and they take them out, and I can't see anything. They just take them out, and it was just pitch black. So that was a little scary. Insurance companies were called, and the studio showed up, and then my sight came back.
I've never asked you this though. How did it come back? Did you slowly start to
Slowly
see
started
light?
to see, little
Like
light,
the
little
tunnel
shape.
thing? Or?
At first I thought maybe I'd be like half blind for the rest of my. I mean, it was scary.
Yeah.
Because it went from way just dark to little by little. I got my sight back, and all of a sudden, miracle, I could see.
So did you now have 20/20 vision after that? It was like LASIK happening?
Oh no, yeah, now I have laser vision.
That became
No,
the
but after
superpower.
that,
He can see through all of your clothes.
now after that, 15
They can
minutes.
make some comfortable, so it's fine.
I was the prototype for that thing to have the airport. The see-through. No, anyway. After that, it was 15 minutes and 15 minutes. So they were very careful after that.
So to take off the makeup, that process.
2 hours. So 8 hours a day. Without any shooting. So it was good overtime.
Is that how that works?
What about you with the tongue?
The tongue story is, when you make it, that's the worst part because you're in a Dixie cup with glue, like just sitting there. But my story about that was it just slipped right on. It just was like a little plastic thing, slipped right on. I did the scene, the famous scene. They had to moisten it to make it look really gooey and like gross. And then I put it on, did it, and then we did the scene where I got shot, where he runs in, shoots me, I dive through the window, or dive into the grate thing, and the effect went great, it was loud, and Wes goes, "Come here, Sean." And I go, "Yeah," and he goes, "Watch this." And you watch the whole scene, and right before I dive in, and the thing goes, boom, you hear me go, "Oh shit." And he goes, "Roach can't talk. You can't say that." And I went, "Oh, maybe I should put that thing back in." So I put it in, and I wore it the rest of the shoot. So then I could literally just talk, and I would talk, and I couldn't talk. So I'd just go, because I couldn't talk. But it was the smartest way to do it, just to keep it in, because then I couldn't do it. So I just did that the rest of the shoot, and that was that. And then the rest were my fingers that took a long time. It's just, it seems like it'd be simple, but it's like blending each little skin thing, tip into each finger. It's like an hour and a half, so nothing compared to what Jan had to go through. But my favorite story of my makeup ever is at a convention walked up to me and just looked at the picture, that famous picture of me like, and he goes, "Oh man, how long did it take to do that prosthetics?" And I said, "No man, the fingers took like an hour and a half, and it's very specific." And he goes, "No, the fucked up teeth and gums." And I said, "That took about 9 months in my mom's belly, because that's my face." That's my face. And he just goes like this, he goes, "All right," and he just laughed. He didn't buy a picture or anything, he just laughed.
He's very unimpressed with that.
He was like,
I have a face for horror, it's fine, okay?
Right.
So, looking back from, when the film came out, we won't say how many years, because we're all of a certain age, and it was just yesterday. So, did you picture, doing conventions and speaking with fans that are, diehard fans of that movie and you guys as actors so many years later?
Absolutely not.
Especially you as a kid, you're like, oh.
No, I feel like I've been lucky in that way. A lot of things that I've done have seemed to kind of, our parents have seemed to just hand them down from generation to generation, and they just kind of keep going. But no, I never would have guessed. Especially not as a kid.
I didn't even know these things existed.
I didn't either.
No, I don't think any of us thought. We just knew that Wes Craven was a great filmmaker, and the Freddy Krueger and all that. And I just know my manager was so freaking excited. I didn't realize how big Wes was myself. But when I booked it, everybody was very excited. So, you know something special was happening.
Your script wasn't even complete, right, when you booked?
No. I when I got the first script, my audition, I was doing the same thing as Sean. Everybody was auditioning for Roach, basically. Just crawling around, doing all kinds of things for, first to call the casting director, then with Wes personally. And then after the audition, he kind of told me I was going to get it more or less. And he just said, "But your character's not really in the script." So he said, "I have a lot of ideas, but I wanted to see who's going to play it first." So every day, sitting in the makeup chair, he came with more pages for me.
He dreamed them.
Yeah, he came up. So it was a great thing because I was kind of developing the Stairmaster with Wes, and it was good because I was dealing with Brandon's grandmother on one side and Wes here. I was kind of a little bit of a den papa on the set. Yeah. And then AJ too. There was a lot of young ages.
Yeah.
So and everybody came to my room a lot. So it was a great experience, and it turned out really well. The best compliment an actor can get is when the director brings you more pages every day.
Right.
So
for me, I was like, I was on when Facebook became a thing. I just got tons of friend requests, and I was like, I don't know these people. This is just so weird. My friend in New York, he's a jazz drummer, goes, "Dude, they're your fans," and I go, "What are you talking about?" He goes, "Just accept them." And I go, "Okay." And I remember one day just went, just accepting all these things, and then just the messages. "Do you do horror conventions? Do you sign autographs? Is that Roach?" And I was like, oh my God, this is so, I had no idea that was a thing, that people wanted. And especially, I don't know if you guys know this, I'm in the movie, because someone said I want a full compilation of Roach from beginning to end. I'm only in the movie for 11 minutes, the entire thing. Now that's not counting if you hear me, if you hear me, maybe 15, the times you hear me through the wall. But think of, when I grabbed, when Brandon's scared at the beginning of the movie, those are quick pops, you know what I mean? And then I only had a few scenes, and by half an hour in, I'm dead. So it's just one of those things that you go, wow, that's why, of course, I didn't think that people would think, want to see, but it was a memorable character. So.
It also got a very great reception when it came out.
Yeah, it was 6 weeks at number one.
Yeah, number one. It got a number one hit and became a cult movie afterwards, which is usually either or. So we're very fortunate and blessed. I told somebody the other day that one of my biggest royalty checks still, with all the work I've done,
Yeah.
It's people under the stairs.
Yeah.
People
It's
are
good
still
that you are
watching
still
it.
getting that. There's so many actors that
Oh, they
did
still
things
watching
that they
it,
get nothing.
obviously. Like a lot of people are still watching it.
But I think it's a cult movie because if you mention Wes Craven, most people know Scream and Freddy. There's that trilogy of smaller People Under the Stairs, Shocker, and Serpent in the Rainbow that I kind of like. If any Bowie fans in here, I always feel like it's when he went to Germany for those 3 weird albums in the late 70s, Bowie, it felt like that was Wes's little, same thing. He went and did these weird little, crazy movies. And people don't know People Under the Stairs when you mention it, like in the general population, and sometimes even in the horror community. So it is kind of a cult movie, but the people who love it, and they love it for different reasons. There's like Three Stooges goofy comedy with, you guys going on the electric on the door, to cannibalism, to, scary, crazy stuff. It's so people say, oh, it scared me. Some people go, oh, I laughed my butt off at this movie. So I finally thought, I said, I think it's like a twisted movie. I feel like it's twisted because you never see a happy ending where like the monster's walking out going, I'm free, let's go get a chili dog. I don't know. We don't know what, it's very unique. It's a very odd film, and socially everything, was ahead of its time.
Yeah, political message.
Yeah.
So Brandon, you on social media, I assume, these days with the kids. Have you had anyone reach out to you and maybe say you inspired them, being kind of the hero of a horror movie as a child?
Yeah, sure. Like he was saying too, I think Wes added a lot of social, economical content undertone in the movie that was ahead of its time, and even not understanding that fully as a kid, that was like my favorite thing about the movie, is that I got to save the day at the end of the day, and I understood the whole idea of the slumlord or the man or the system actually, keeping everybody in this impoverished environment and using it to their advantage to, I understood it a little bit, but it still is unfolding for me today how much stuff he really put in there, you know what I mean? Yeah, to answer your question, a lot of people have told me that, and it feels good.
And it's one of those movies that we, we had no idea when it came out, whatever, but that we see in these conventions, that parents let the children see very early. Like you have people come up, oh, I was 6, I was 5, I was 10. I'm like, what?
Yeah.
Really?
This guy just told me he showed his daughter last night. She was hiding behind him this morning, and she goes, she cried so hard when Roach died. And I was like, oh my God, it's like Bambi's mom and Roach.
Right up there. I was not allowed to see rated R or PG-13 movies, and so
I used to freak out at the Twilight Zone.
I'm like, what's the scariest movie I've seen? Five Nights at Freddy's recently. I mean, like that's scary for me.
It was very accepted for parents, for some.
Yeah. Well, my favorite thing is when Jordan Peele announced it, some guy in my messages said, oh, so it's going to be the white people are the bad guys and the black people are the heroes. And I go, what? Like the original? Did you watch the first one? I think it's going to be interesting. Plus, it's going to be weird seeing a new Roach. That'll be weird, you know what I mean? Obviously, he has to be stunningly handsome.
Like the original?
We'll be casting for the teeth later today.
That's right.
Right here in Evansville.
So there's an open call with people with fucked up teeth and gums.
So current projects you guys are working on, you're staying busy, you're helping actors to get a start.
Yes, I'm going to be in Memphis at the end of this month to do a whole weekend of improv and teaching scene study and let them do that. And then I just try to, every town I go to, or during I just try to do free lectures to film students, acting students, just as a way to give back, because I feel like when I'm lucky like this, the other thing, and to also just change, just people think, if I just, go to Hollywood and get some cute pictures and stuff, they forget it's a craft, they forget how hard it is. But it's also saying you don't have to tell your parents, I'm gonna be an actor, and they're like, oh my God, years. No, just say, I'm gonna do it for 2 years. Give it 100% for 2 years, and at the end of those 2 years go, at least I said I tried. And so you're not 80 going, I never tried. And I believe that's life. You should try if there's something you want to do, just do it for 2 years. 2 years isn't that long. And here's why I know that, because I read Lloyd Bridges' biography or something. He's talking, he's very old, and he's like, yeah, and then for those few years I had tuberculosis. And then I went, and you're like, 3 years? He's like, I was in bed for 3 years. Anyway, and then I go, wow, that's the way you look at life when you're, so 2 years of trying something is, you can try anything for 2 years. I'm probably gonna move back east to where my brother lives in Baltimore, my hometown, and I figured I'm gonna try it for 2 years. If it's not great, then I'll move back to LA, so.
Please don't.
Yeah.
So you're in LA, so what's happening in your life?
Yeah, so now actually, we just had something come out in September.
Yeah.
Me and Sean.
First time reunion.
Beneath Us All, first time we worked together since People on the Stairs. Viking vampire film.
Did you guys come back together like we're BFFs? It's like we never.
Well, we've been together. We've been all over the world together.
Yeah,
Us three, And so it was really fun to be on screen together.
It was. We did a podcast with Colombia or something.
Yeah.
South Africa on set. It was fun.
Yeah.
In makeup, so we did all that. That movie came out in September. It's all over the streaming media now.
Yeah, it's doing very well. It's very different characters for us.
Yeah, I just had a lot of makeup on.
Yeah. Well, you were you're like a big brother, and this one you're like
I'm
sexy vampire.
Ooh, what was the name of that movie again?
I didn't hear that from you before.
Like it's getting closer.
I'm saying what everybody's saying.
So
we had some fun. And then in August, I had another film come out in The Devil's Left Hand, and I'm working on some projects. So yeah, I'm keeping busy.
Me, I took a long hiatus, to be honest with you. And, I have a daughter who just graduated high school, and she's an actress as well. So I've been, trying to help her get that going. But I'm just starting to get back into it. I miss it. We were talking about doing some things together. And,
Yeah.
hopefully some stuff soon.
So your daughter, what's her name? What's she working on?
Well, she's been doing some commercials and different things. Her name is Ayana, and hopefully she's on her way to college now.
Oh,
look at that.
Oh, wait.
Yeah, I'm trying to nudge her in the right direction, But yeah, she's an actress too. Yeah.
So aspiring film writers, filmmakers, I know there are a lot of, even if no one says, I've talked to a lot of people who, they have all these ideas, they want to do things, and everybody's a content creator.
Yeah.
Right? So what's the best route these days? It's not always just...
Film it. Just do it
yourself.
Just do it. Just take your phone, take your friends, shoot something, put it on YouTube, put it on your Facebook, put it there. So here's the bad news and good news of our generation. In our generation, we came up and there wasn't as much competition. So when you got a job, you paid well, decent residuals, because it was networks and things like that. That was the best part of it. And that's not as easy anymore, because there's so many tiers of budgets and low budget. Like, you couldn't get paid nothing or $100 a day. I mean, when you do minimum SAG low min, and it's $100, that's less than minimum wage in any country. So they didn't have that back then, but we had no access to make our own projects. If you wanted to make a short film, you had to spend $20,000 to $30,000 just for the film, just for the actual film. So there's no excuse not to shoot anything. Because all you do, Sam Raimi just has a video that's going around and goes, get your friends, shoot it, edit it, put it out, see what you like, see what you don't like, then do it again the next weekend, then do it again the next, just keep shooting stuff. Like, there's no reason not to. There's so many, you can literally put it up for people to see immediately. So that's what I would say. Just do whatever you want.
I mean, that's how so many musicians and artists are getting, see these days, the TikTok. Are you on TikTok?
That honestly funded my movie.
Okay.
Because when I went during the pandemic, I went on TikTok because I met someone to do it, and I was just doing it for fun. And then people are like, "Are you Steve Buscemi? Are you?" Like, "Oh God, here we go." And then I was like, then I had to start, So then I would start talking about my career, and then it started to blow up, and it literally helped me through the pandemic. I was doing fun skits, and I did a whole thing called Roach the Roommate, which is about me moving into an apartment and Roach I dressed up like Roach again, and it's me, myself versus Roach, my roommate, who keeps eating my chicken nuggets and trying to pay the rent in gold coins and shit, So but I did a whole bunch of stuff like that, and people kept saying, "Oh, we'd love to see you in bigger roles." And I go, your grandmother says that, like, you should have a series, and you're like, oh, I should have picked that up at the Walmart, gosh darn it. It's not how it works. You have to get told, but they kept saying, oh, we want you in bigger projects, we'd love to see you in bigger projects. And then finally, when I did my Indiegogo for my project, they all showed up, paid, and I said, what's going on? They said, we were one of the fastest indie horrors on Indiegogo ever. And they said, because when we said we'd like to see you in bigger roles, we meant it. And we'll pay for it, and because we do want to see you. And my brother saw that, and I'm starting a production company because he said, well, now the gatekeepers are gone. The studio can't tell you what people want to see. Your fans are telling you what they want to see, and they'll help you do it. So I think you can put anything up on social media, get a following, but be authentic and find your voice. Because stand-up comics, they say basically suck for 5 years while you're trying to find what's your point of view. But you won't know, but just start, just do it. There's no reason to wait.
Do you have any life advice, Courtney?
I just leave it that. I leave it at that.
Yeah.
The
Well,
exhortation.
yeah.
He tried for so many years now, he still can't do it.
That's right.
Give it two.
Give it a couple years.
Give it 2 years, unless you're trying to do stand-up, then it's fine.
No, but like these, we always hustle,
Yeah. Sure.
So, are there any dream projects or dream, anything you haven't done that you're like, man, if I could do this?
I mean, it'd be fun.
Possible or impossible?
I mean, I would love to do. I mean, my roots are comedy. I came up in comedy, and I haven't been able to do a lot of comedy. I would love to create and be part of a comedy series. That would be great. And to do live out this production company of horror comedies. I've got some fun stuff coming.
Well, yeah, I concur. I like to do series. It's more steady nowadays too than flying all over do these indie films. I like to have getting older, but a steady 8 to 5 series for a few years would be great.
Yeah.
Really the dream jobs for me. Like I said, I'm just looking to get back working at the moment. And like I said, I've been lucky to have done a lot of, classic things that work with a lot of people, Michael Jackson, West, and Sandlot, and Mighty Ducks, and they're becoming a team, and all of that stuff. So I've kind of had a dream career as a youngster already, I feel like. So I just want to get back to doing what I love doing. And that's what I would say as far as what you guys were talking about, and people following their dreams. Just if it's what you love to do, just contribute your part to the art. You know what I mean? Like, we all want to see it.
So, Stories from the Sandlot. That sounds like a horror movie right there, right? Write that down.
I always say the Sandlot was just like hanging out with your friends for the summer. You know what I mean? It really wasn't like work at all. Just had a good time, bunch of guys.
That's what you said about the other movie. Wait.
Which one?
This one, The People Under the Stairs.
Oh.
It was just fun. I just hung out.
Yeah, I was a kid, so I was having fun
was
on the
hanging
set
out.
and stuff. And I didn't have to do all the makeup and stuff like they did, but you know, it was like the first set where they were like, you know, you need more dirt in your hair. Constantly throwing shit on you. But no, Sandlot was really just like hanging out with your buddies, like a camp or something.
Yeah.
He was the only kid on our set.
Yeah.
You know, AJ was 16, but she was 16.
She was
16. No, she wasn't. She was 16.
There's a big difference in those two.
Yes. Yeah, I think she played 14. Yeah. But she had a maturity about her. Like, he was a kid, you know what I mean? And she was like you know, you tell she was sharp because she was an actress. And so she had a maturity about her even at that young age.
Yeah.
You know? It was great. Do you guys have any questions?
Yeah. Any questions?
Well, mine was my story, the one about the shooting, for sure, and him going like, "You can't talk." The only other one was when I was dying outside the furnace. I told him what I wanted to do. I said, "Look, I want to be really sad that I'm dying, but don't let him see that I'm sad. Like, I have to get him to go save Alice." So I said I'd like to prepare emotionally, you know, to get really sad and stuff. So I, you know, went running the furnace and was, you know, we were prepared. But, you know, the makeup people and that stuff are going, "Is he okay?" Because I'm curled up sitting there crying, you know. And Wes just stood in front of him. His people to go back in, and he goes, "He's working. He's working. Leave him alone. He's working." And I thought, that's amazing for him to let us do that. Because you understand when you see a camera getting, lights getting, you don't, actor work looks so weird and different. But he knew it and he protected us. So that's probably mine.
My favorite story that some of you might have heard because I keep bringing this one up.
He loves it.
I love this story because it just shows his humility and his humbleness. We were over budget 4 weeks into the filming, I think, and the studio started to get a little worried, especially because it was not one of his Freddy Kruegers. It was like he said, it was like a new thing, and. One morning, you know, I show up at 6 o'clock every morning. I show up this one morning, everybody's running around like crazy. Seem worried about things. So I'm like walking around and I'm asking what's up. Oh, the suits are coming. The suits are coming today. And like, well, we lose our job and this and that, we're over budget, you know, that kind of thing. So the suits show up from Universal, all these people, and go to department after department, but nobody can find Wes anywhere. Wes is gone. Everybody wants to talk to Wes. The producer, the executive producer, kept asking me, and I'm like, yeah, no, I don't know. But then we had this one place that we used to hang out, him and I. So I thought, okay, I'm sure I can find him, just to make sure he's okay. So I go up Renmo Studios. They have this fire ladder up on the roof. So I go up there, and the sun's shining, and yeah, Wes is laying there on his back, looking at the sky, and I'm like, what are you doing? He said, I'm waiting for him to leave so I can finish my movie.
That's some really good life advice too.
Yeah.
That was
Disappear.
one. So, and I went up there and we lighted for a while together. I'm like, hey, just hang out. And
You
he's
weren't
like,
naked though, right?
No,
I
we
just
were
keep
not.
picturing that now.
No,
like,
that was just big. Yeah.
everything you say, I'm just gonna think about.
Yeah, no, that was a great memory. That just showed so much about who he was, and you know, to us, he was like we family.
Like, yeah, like a
It was
paternal figure.
compassionate father figure and friends, and
On sets, it all comes from the top, and he was just so chill, so nice.
I mean, it could have been an opposite reaction. Like it could have been a director running around like crazy, like worried and stressing everybody out. But he just did the complete opposite.
Real sweet guy, laid back.
Yeah.
I remember me as a kid. like I said, I have fun, but what I do remember about the movie was the experience also of working with all these guys and how professional they were and teaching me things that I didn't really know, you know. So before every scene, Wes would take me and see what I had and how I was going to approach it and really walk me through it, and he always made it comfortable. And Ving taught me a lot, you know, so it was a real learning experience for me.
Any other questions?
Do you guys have any stories of like working with Everett or Wendy, like with the physicality? I know, you know, he grabbed you and was throwing you down the stairs and all kinds of stuff. And then I'll follow up. Do they have names other than mommy and daddy?
No.
No?
Man and woman.
Man and
Man
woman.
and woman?
Brother
Yeah, I
and
think that
sister.
was on the set.
Yeah,
Man and
sister,
woman.
brother.
Yeah, man and woman was on the script. Yeah.
I would say the same as Wes, like they were just total opposite of what, you know, their characters.
Oh my God.
They were
Yeah,
just
no,
so sweet.
Very sweet.
but I had a lot of fun doing that stuff with him, for sure.
Wendy was so sweet. When I came out of the stairs, like we had to do it over and over again, and I had a hairpiece too, like on
And
top
that was
of my
intense, man. She's screaming. Your
Oh
photo
yeah,
was
and she had a
intense.
knife, and my hair was gone. Like she thought it was my own hair. She was got all worried. Like that hairpiece falling off. You have to glue this, and she was like, "Oh my God!" And you know, now she's super sweet. And then as soon as the action came, she was just that character. Screaming, yelling, and then as soon as they said cut, she was like, "Oh, you okay? Okay." And
It was easy to get caught up in the moment of just watching them. Too.
yeah. That really
They were
good
incredible.
chemistry.
And I only worked with Everett the one day when we three worked together when I was shooting the thing. He's just so chill and professional and wanted to make it easy for us, and you know, he was just very mellow and kind of like he wasn't overly like goofy or silly or anything. He was just, you know, nailed it, quiet. And I never worked with Wendy. Her and I never worked together.
I just remember him in that suit. That was the first time I ever seen him.
I didn't even know what that
Like
suit was.
I didn't even know how to look at him.
Why the suit? Like, what?
Yeah.
But looking back, it's so great. You know what I mean? It's such
It
a.
just adds that little bit of
Well,
like,
plus it's supposed to be like once you realize it's supposed to be like that outfit is like for a victim or us, you know, in what is it?
Pulp Fiction, right? Like,
Well, but it's also in like, you know, dominance and suppressing. He's that's supposed to be the weak character, but then he's out there with the gun, and you're going, this is crazy. Like, what is happening? That he wants to get in that to shoot me? Like, it's so weird.
I think it's so great you guys have so many specific memories from so long ago, and you probably don't remember what you ate yesterday. Or
Yeah,
at least most of us
exactly.
don't. Like,
I
what did we
don't.
do yesterday? But I can tell you. Question?
Hi, what are some cartoons, shows, movies that you guys connected to when you were children, or that maybe inspired you to become actors and stuff, even for the Swedish media? You know,
Ingmar Bergman, a lot of old classic black and whites made a big impression on me. You know, and my dad was an actor too, but he was more on the comedic side. So I saw both. I like to see the dramatic movies, and then I saw my dad do stand up, and that mixed in with that, and then I saw The Shining, and I knew what filmmaking was all about. that made the biggest impression on me, I think, seeing how Stanley worked, and yeah.
I think for me, Mel Brooks. Like, I saw Blazing Saddles when I was like 13, and there was grown-ups farting. And you're like,
these days.
you know what I mean? And you're like, you know, as a 13-year-old boy, you're like, this is the greatest thing I've ever seen in my life. Grown men farting. People are paying to see it. And Young Frankenstein, man. I mean, come on, Young Frankenstein's just perfection. And Gene Wilder, you know, I think that was the kind of thing that made me, and to be really honest, my dad took me to Oliver. You guys are old enough to, the musical Oliver. And it was amazing. It was so big, and like that little kid, you know, and you go, okay. And then I was the youngest of four, so I just would entertain my brothers and sisters, so I didn't have to clean the kitchen.
One thing about Oliver is the composer for that, for all the music in that, didn't know how to write music. He
Amazing.
didn't know how to read music.
Yeah. And that's some of the greatest musical songs, I think. But yeah, I think those kind of things. And then yeah, Saturday morning, we go out, get like his island and stuff,
The Smurfs.
Yeah, no, it's done. Older than that.
Okay. I was like for myself.
My cartoons were cave drawings.
The Flintstones then, right?
Spencer Tracy.
Laurel Hardy and
Charlie Chaplin.
You know what I'm talking about.
I know a little bit of, I'm a late 79, 70s baby, so I got to see both sides. Those late 70s shows and 80s. For me, like I said before, though, it was Michael Jackson. That's what opened my eyes, and then I guess I'm a Leo, so I'm an entertainer by nature.
There is a Michael Jackson doll on the vendor floor I saw. Just so you know, in case you need to buy that, it is in the box and it's pristine. So, do you guys collect anything?
My wife and I collect ornaments from cities we've been to and coffee mugs from cities we've been to. She collects more than I. That's pretty much all I get is like memory things, but she's a Funko Pop person.
She should be.
She's so mad that there's not an official Roach Funko Pop.
Right?
Yeah, so.
Me, I want to collect from projects.
Ooh, so you get to take stuff home.
Yeah, like I have a cast of some people upstairs. I have the cast in porcelain.
I was gonna say, doesn't that stink now, or okay, you have it
No,
preserved?
they actually made it. Yeah, they made it. They're hard form from the phone. And I have teeth from 3 different vampire movies. I had to throw one of those out once. They were not looking very good.
Not preserved.
There's a movie
They
from
look like
90.
this.
Yeah, I'm like Roach was here. No, but I like to grab something from each film.
Yeah.
And I used to do a Polaroid, the old Polaroid days. I had a Polaroid.
Oh, yeah.
From
They
every
still have
single
those.
project.
They're just
Every
new.
single project I did, and then lately it's all on the phone now. So yeah.
I have a picture of me and Greg Nicotero coming out of that pit, holding up the naked figurines in the pit. We're both like, hey, let's hang out with this dude.
Yeah.
Oh, me?
Collect?
What do you collect?
I don't.
Do you at least have something from the Mighty Ducks?
I mean, I do keep stuff from
Okay.
all the projects. Absolutely. I stole a lot of stuff. To be honest.
She's like,
Maybe I collect some sports stuff, here and there.
Greg was like, don't swear. And he goes, I won't. Stealing.
I was taking everything. I even had one of the props guys' Makita drill.
It's on eBay
I
now.
took
but-
everything.
Well, I think that's about our time. You guys will need to, I think.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
But thank
you
you
so much.
guys so much for coming to Evansville,
Please come
Indiana.
by our tables. We'd
Yes.
love to see you
All of
guys.
the